Namaste and a warm welcome to everyone who has joined us from different cities, backgrounds spread across the country. Good evening to all participants, speakers, guests, entrepreneurs, sustainability enthusiasts, and more importantly, change makers. I am Nitin, an engineer by profession, a traveler by heart, and eco-conscious human being by passion. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the Beyond 1:3 to 10 workshop today. I have the honor and privilege of being your moderator for this incredible gathering. Today is not just another workshop, it is a platform for transformation, collaboration, sustainable entrepreneurship, and more importantly, conscious growth. We are truly honored to have with us all inspiring women leaders, sustainability experts, environmental educators, entrepreneurs, and social impact creators who are making these meaningful contributions across India and beyond as well. For the next few hours, we will learn from their journeys, experiences, and discover how a purpose driven work can create a large scale impact. So, I once again welcome everyone. Let us begin this beautiful journey together with a positive learnings and gratitude. Before we get started, a few general instructions to everyone. Let us keep ourselves muted throughout the session. Only when we are asking anyone to speak, we can turn on their mics and speak up or ask any questions required. We will give opportunity for everyone to ask questions individually after each speaker is done with their session. Okay? And feel free to post your questions over the chat so that we will make a note of it and answer them appropriately whenever applicable. Is this clear? You can just give a thumbs up, react so that we feel lively in the meeting. Okay, good. I see a lot of enthusiasm and participation from all the participants. Okay, a very meaningful journey begins with peace, mindfulness, and collective positive energy. To invoke harmony and set the right intention for our today's session, let us begin with Shanti Path. I request everyone to settle down comfortably and join with full presence. I now invite Padmaji for the Shanti Path.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavati Tamastuma Vishavahai Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Padmaji, for creating such a peaceful and positive beginning for our today's workshop. Now, with great respect and pride for our nation, let us proceed with Rashtriya Gan. I request everyone, wherever possible, to stand with respect.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उच्छल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जाहे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाता जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, Padmaji.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So every impactful initiative starts with a strong vision. So to help us understand the purpose, structure, and transformational value of the Beyond 1 is to 3 is to 10 workshop, I would now like to invite Rupaji to introduce the course and set the context for today's learning journey.
Namaskara, good evening, vanakkam. Welcome to everybody. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to Beyond 1310, Innovation and Product Development. It's a first of its kind structured certificate course designed to take bioenzyme learning beyond formulation and into the world of innovation, sustainability, and entrepreneurship. Over the last few years, we have worked with students, homemakers, entrepreneurs, institutions, and communities across different regions to build awareness around bioenzymes. What started as a simple conversation around kitchen waste and fermentation has today evolved into a movement that connects environment, livelihood, and sustainable living. The idea behind this course is very simple. Waste is not waste until we waste it. The 1-3-10 concept taught us how fruit and vegetable waste can be transformed into valuable natural resource. But today, we are moving beyond just making bioenzymes. We are entering the next stage, understanding how these solutions can become products, enterprises, livelihood opportunities, and tools for environmental restoration. This course has been designed with the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, empowering individuals and communities to become self-reliant through local resources, local production, and local innovation. We strongly believe in the idea of go vocal for local, where sustainable products can emerge from our own kitchens, farms, and surroundings. At BEA, we also align our work with Bio 3 policy, that is bioenzyme for education, employment, and environment. Now, through this approach, education creates awareness and scientific understanding. Employment creates livelihood and entrepreneurship opportunities, and environment ensures restoration, waste reduction, and sustainable practices. This is not just another training program. To our knowledge, this is the only structured course that integrates circular ecology with circular economy. Because sustainability is meaningful only when it supports both ecology of the planet and economy of the people for it to be truly adopted. Through this course, we aim to address several United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which also includes responsible consumption and production, clean water and sanitization, gender equality, climate action, sustainable communities, and decent work and economic growth. Over the next few sessions, you will explore bioenzyme behavior, product formulation, product positioning, compliance and branding, financial planning, market understanding, and how to transform ideas into sustainable enterprises. We hope this course inspires you not only to create products, but to create an impact. Let us move together from waste to resource, knowledge to innovation, and innovation to sustainable livelihood. Thank you, everybody, and I welcome again, and let's have a successful learning time. Thank you.
Thank you, Rupaji,
Over to you, Nitin.
for giving us a wonderful introduction and helping us understand the larger vision behind the initiative. For those who are not aware, like who is Rupa, so she is one of the founder trustee of the Bangalore Entrepreneurs Academy. She is based out of Bangalore, right?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
one of the founder members, my founder trustee of the Bioenzyme Academy.
Yeah.
So it was Preeti, me, and Jyoti who started this. I am based in Bangalore.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So now we move ahead with a brief presentation representing the spirit, vision, and journey of BEA. I will now present the BEA flag bearer PPT. I request Preeti ma'am to share the screen and present it.
Thank you. Well, these are the people who are always there with us in learning and experimenting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. BEA is not just an academy, it is a movement. A movement to heal our Mother Earth, to empower individuals, and to make bioenzymes a household name across Bharat and beyond. And to inspire us further on this journey, I now have an immense honor of inviting our distinguished guest of honor, a woman whose life is a living testimony to what one individual can do for thousands. Now it's time to welcome a truly inspiring personality, Anita Gupta ji. To give a brief about her, Anita Gupta is an Indian social entrepreneur, organic farmer, and a tribal activist from Bhojpur, Bihar. Known for her remarkable contribution towards women empowerment and rural livelihood development. She co-founded Bhojpur Mahila Kala Kendra in 1993 at a very young age with the vision of creating sustainable livelihood opportunities for rural women. Through her dedicated efforts, she has organized skill development and entrepreneurship training for more than 50,000 plus rural women in handicrafts, crochet designing, jewelry making, and self employment initiatives. Her organization has helped thousands of women become financially independent while promoting education and dignity within rural communities. Under her leadership, the organization expanded its impact through collaboration with institutions such as Tata Institute of Social Sciences and DC Handicrafts. In recognition to her inspiring work, Anita Gupta received the prestigious Women Transforming India Award from Niti Aayog in 2017 and the Nari Shakti Puraskar, India's highest civilian honor for women from the President of India in 2022. Her life is a beautiful example of service, empowerment, and grassroots leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming the honored guest, Anita Gupta ji. Ma'am, we are truly inspired and privileged to have you with us. Over to you, ma'am.
अनीता जी आप ज्वाइन किए? I can't see her name exactly, but I don't know if she has joined from something else, some other name. Okay, she's not around. Let's continue, Nitin.
Okay, ma'am.
So whenever she joins, we'll get her
Sure,
on.
we'll do that. So, for any workshop or meeting, learning opportunity like this, the success stories adds more value to it. So, success stories inspire belief. They remind us that the transformation is possible when knowledge is combined with action. Our first success story comes from someone who attended our earlier session and went on to establish her own brand all the way in Dubai. This is the power of bioenzymes. It crosses even borders. Due to unavoidable circumstances, she could not attend the session live, but she has shared her success video and her story of the BE story. the brand name is the BE Story.
I will
Let us
share it, Nathan. I will share a
let
video.
us play that.
Hi, I'm Sumitra, the founder of the BE Story, a bioenzyme based home care and personal care brand. We are based out of Dubai, UAE, and we did the BEA course Beyond 1310 many months ago. And I want to share my feedback. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my feedback. So by the time we had started the workshop with BEA, we had already done a few formulations of our products, and we had piloted some of them with our friends, family, and a close group of people, so we can understand the local context and get to understand what they like, what they don't like. So the workshop that I attended wasn't only about making the formulations or making the products. This is where it completely is different from any other formulation course, because here we are talking about the science of bioenzymes and how they are different from any other known synthetic base which only behaves in one way every single time. But bioenzyme is like bamboo, every time it's different. What you put in, the temperature, the weather, the geographical location, everything has an impact on the quality of the bioenzyme. That was one of the biggest learning. And we had so many experts for 3 days. It seems like a really long time, but believe me, it wasn't enough. For 3 days, we had experts from those are doctorates, PhD holders, professors, students who've been researching bioenzymes through their research labs or through the university. They presented their research. And the research was not just about cleaning products, but the properties of bioenzymes itself. How dilution makes a huge difference in the case use of bioenzymes. How bioenzymes have been used for lake rejuvenation or in soil rejuvenation. Real life case studies from farmers showing real results of how it was before and how it has happened. So the whole learning is we were learning from people who had experienced bioenzymes firsthand in many case uses, not just as a product, not just as a cleaning product. And BA being affiliated with the inventor, Dr. Rosakun herself, who also came for the workshop. And we could get some really deep insights into what kind of bioenzymes we can use, the botanicals that we can use for different products. And essentially, it wasn't about pitching products to sell, but it was pitching for solutions, natural, eco-friendly, bio-based, waste to value solutions that we can build for any environmental problem or skin problem or health problem with the power of bioenzymes. So that can only happen, that kind of knowledge can only be built if we understood the science of bioenzymes, which we learned from so many experts. So I would highly recommend to do this workshop. It's a great course for anybody who is obsessed with nature, very thrilled with microbes, learning more about the world around us and building safer solutions for our families or our communities or our planet in whatever way you want to see it.
So, from the workshop participant to a brand owner in Dubai, incredible, right? Give us some heart symbols, thumbs ups, expressing. Yes, good. Okay, so such stories will definitely inspire every one of us to continue our efforts and proceed in our life, right? So Sumitra ji is one of proof that the knowledge combined with courage creates miracles here. Okay, so let us now move on to our next expert session. It's my pleasure to introduce Yogini ji, a woman who wears many hats and wears them all with grace. Yogini Bapat is a director of Vayu Technologies Private Limited, leading innovative industrial automation in India and globally. She is also the founder of BE Live Envirotech, focusing on sustainability, waste management, and composting workshops. As a co-founder of Parivartan, she promotes sustainable development education. Additionally, she runs Yogini's Little Kitchen, a home bakery, and trains as a Kathak dancer too. Her environmental advocacy begins at Thermax Limited, leading to projects with various organizations, including contributions at the G20 Summit on Bioenzymes and Sustainable Development. Her work reflects a strong commitment to fostering a sustainable global community. Today, she will take us through the fascinating world of the urban cycle. Guys, let's warmly welcome Yogini ji. The stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. That was a very, very long intro indeed. Thank you for that. Okay, so today's topic, which has been given to me, is urban water cycle. So we all know the hydrological cycle. So today we will be talking more about the urban water cycle, what it is like. So let me share my presentation first. Visible?
Yes,
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what? I'll be speaking more and the presentation would be there. But if at all you feel like noting down a few things which are not there on the screen, you may just note down. All right. So we'll begin. So, what is the urban water cycle? Water cycle in urban cities, to just break it down into simple words. But how? So what happens? How does the water enter our cities? Through reservoirs, through rivers, groundwater sources. What does it do? Then it travels through treatment plants. The first stage when when the water is carried on towards the household industries, first thing is it is treated. All right. Then it goes through the various distribution networks and enters our homes, industries, and public spaces for the daily consumption and use. What happens later is more important. Okay. So here we go. After the use, the wastewater is always gone through the drains into the system, right? Then there is a sewage treatment plant. Then the water is so-called treated over there. And then it goes ahead and joins the water bodies again, right? Some water seeps into the groundwater table. Some water reaches the rivers or the water bodies, and some water gets evaporated. So in India, over 70% of urban wastewater remains untreated, highlighting a critical environmental challenge. Okay. So at times, even from the industries, the effluent is just, dumped into the water bodies, just left it open like that. Even there, you see so many nalas, they're just flowing into the rivers. The black water is flowing into the rivers. There are so many stories on Instagram which we see that there is foam on the rivers. There is a black, complete jet black effluent which is entering the water bodies. So what is this all about is what we're going to check today. Okay? And why? And what can we do? Are we responsible for that? We keep blaming industries for everything, right? Industry se pani ja raha hai, industry se chemicals ja rahe, but it's not our fault, right? But then somewhere or the other, it is our fault as well. Fault, I would say no, but we are not aware. What we do, we want our houses to be very clean. So we will use the best of cleaners available on in the market. More attractive colors, more we feel like buying them, more we feel will clean our surfaces. So many cleaners are available. There are some pictures over here. Okay. So what we do, we buy one blue bottle for our toilet bowl. We buy one red bottle only for the floors. We buy one orange bottle only for the taps and everything. Then we buy another big can only for our flooring. Okay, we mop the floor with that. Then during Diwali, we start buying all kind of acids, raw acids, right? And then we have these cleaners who come home, poor people. They just cover their face with cloth. I have seen so many times because they can't breathe in those fumes which are available over there, right? The fumes which are created because then while they are cleaning those toilets. So these are all harmful acids which the person cannot even breathe in, and that poor fellow is there inside a small toilet, cleaning with it, breathing in those fumes. There are all these acids. They touch the skin, which is the most absorbent part of our body, organ of our body. Directly, all these things absorb. What happens? These are so directly you can see that the skin is burned. You are feeling a bit claustrophobic, nausea ho raha hai. You feel like vomiting. Then you can't breathe properly. Your head starts spinning. All these things are there. But what do we feel? It's a temporary thing here, right? It will just go. Okay, then you come out of the toilet and you take some fresh air, breathe in from fresh air, and you feel it is gone. Does it go like that? It doesn't go. Okay, it is just the beginning of everything. So what happens? We drain it down, right? When we flush, we think everything is gone. But do you know the oldest saying, whatever you sow is what you reap. आप जो फेंकते हो वो पलट के आपके पास आ जाता है. The boomerang effect, everything falls true for this. Okay, you are throwing chemicals, harsh chemicals into the water bodies. They are coming back to you. And in what way is what we are going to see today. Okay. Where all do we use all these harsh chemicals? I spoke about the household. I just named a few. Then there are detergents. Then there are the dishwash liquids. Okay, everything has got surfactants. They have got harsh chemicals. Everything is there, right? And we wear all these. There's a new ad which is coming. UGs. What are UGs? Intimate panty and intimate panty wash and all that. So they have a different thing. Why was the need to use that? Because there are harsh chemicals in your normal detergent wash. And the same thing, they just, there are, it stays on the cloth, and then you wear these clothes very close to your intimate areas, which are then absorbed into your body. Okay. So then they create problems. They create health hazards to us. Then these are the household products. Then we go to industries. Okay, where all do we use chemicals in industries? There are toxic cleaners for the sanitation, for the degreasing, water treatment, sewage treatment, effluent treatment plant. Everywhere they are using toxic chemicals, and then they are just letting the water flow into the water body. When they feel that the water which is treated is not according to the norms which are required, they use gallons of fresh water to bring it down, bring the pH down, bring the acidity down of the water. Okay, now again we are adding the fresh water which was not meant for this again, and then we are sending the entire water to the water bodies again. Okay, this is the industrial thing. Let's go to the agricultural part. What are we doing? We are using all kinds of insecticides, pesticides, fertilizers, and whatnot, all chemicals. We are spoiling the soil, we are spoiling the air, and then when we are watering the plants, it is going down and it is entering our water table. Okay, in this way, we humans are using harsh chemicals, and we are making these water bodies full of, or loading the water bodies with toxic toxic particles, toxic things, and lot more chemicals which are not needed. Okay, so one thing I'll just talk about the blue bottle and the ingredients for what are used to make this blue bottle. I am not naming anything. Okay, so the main ingredient which is used for the cleaning purpose, which says 24 hours it keeps working on the toilet so that there are no germs. All germs are killed. 99.99% germs are killed because of this, which is, what is that ingredient? HCl. What is HCl? Hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is used there to clean the pot. It keeps it clean from rust, lime scales, and is a strong disinfectant. Okay, so one is hydrochloric acid. What is the second? Hydrocytyl. See, I can't even pronounce it. Cytyl. It is called CTAC. Okay, so what is the CTAC? The CTAC helps this liquid to cling to the vertical surfaces so that the vertical surfaces are clean. Okay, so this is another harmful chemical. Then they use methyl salicylate, which masks the chemical odors. The chemicals are very strong, they have fumes and all. So you cannot dilute these chemicals, otherwise the cleaning property is going to go down. So what you can do, you can mask these fumes with some fragrances which they use over here. Then the acid blue, acid red, all these dyes are there. Then there is some hydroxytoluene, which is a preservative. Okay, so this is a combination used to make one bottle of the blue liquid which we blindly use to clean our toilets. Imagine, and one drop of it which falls on your hand or your tip of the finger, how bad it burns. Just imagine. And that we are using to clean our toilets daily, thinking that we are doing a great job, right? And it works 24/7. And the fumes are there 24/7, which is the part of the body which is always coming into contact with this, your skin, which absorbs everything. And then what we complain about? My hair is graying, I have hormonal issues, I have started, my periods are, having problems in my periods, there are cysts in my ovaries. All these kind of problems we start talking about, which were never there before. Why? Because these chemicals are now making a big name because we are so much into using all these chemicals to keep our household clean. So these are all chemicals which we think are helping us, but they are upsetting our entire water cycle. Okay. What is happening when we flush them down? Let us see what happens to the water bodies, because it's a hydrological cycle which we are talking about, no, urban water cycle. So let us see what happens. So when it goes to the water body, what happens? First and foremost, oxygen depletion. Oxygen, there is a certain required amount of oxygen, dissolved oxygen, which we say in the water body. That immediately is depleted. Why? Because these oxygen, there are chemicals. These chemicals react with the oxygen over there. They take the oxygen from there. Oxygen levels are reduced to it. Okay, what happens because of the oxygen which is depleted? You have algal blooms, you have dead zones. The entire aquatic life of the water body depends upon the oxygen presence. Oxygen is not there, the aquatic life is gone. It is dead. Okay, so you're killing the entire aquatic life. Then what happens? Destruction of fish protective layers. So these surfactants which we use, a fish has got a very slimy protective layer around it. So these surfactants, they react with these layers and they kill this layer. And then the fish with this protective layer, is their protection against the bacteria, against the microorganisms to which they are able to contract diseases. So this aquatic life keeps itself protected because of this layer around it. And this is destroyed by the surfactants which we are using in our cleaning products. Okay. Fish bhi maar dala hum logon ne, right? Kya karte hain? Then what? See, I will tell you. Like I said, endocrine disruption. And this is regarding the fish. What I read today was very interesting. I need to share it today with you. So this endocrine disruption and gender bending is what I read about the aquatic life. So what happens? Common preservatives and surfactants act as endocrine disruptors. All right. And once in water, they mimic the natural hormones like estrogen. Estrogen is the natural hormone. So once these the chemicals are there inside the water, they mimic your natural hormone estrogen, and this alters the reproductive system of the fish and amphibians, frequently causing the male fish to develop female traits, ultimately dropping reproductive rates and threatening the entire species with a population collapse. This this is scientifically proven about the fish which are there in the water body. So imagine what it is causing. And do you think it will be restricted only to the fish? Because the same water also, it is going into our bodies, right? So we have to think about it. Bioaccumulation, a normal thing in a food chain, bioaccumulation, what is that? Chemicals and synthetic fragrances and microplastics do not break down easily. Tiny aquatic organisms ingest these, and because of the chemical stored in the fat tissue, their concentration multiplies as they go higher in the food chain. Bigger fish eat these small fish, and we as humans, we eat the big fish. So where is the chemical going into your body? All these lead-laden fish, there are so many stories, right? You knew only about the plastics, only microplastics are there in the fish. But do you know all these chemicals are also there in the fish? So when we are eating this fish, the chemicals are entering our bodies. Then the worst, creation of carcinogenic byproducts. These are responsible for creating carcinogenic byproducts. These chemicals, they react with the organic matter which is present in the water. They react with that, they create dioxins, they are highly toxic, they are carcinogenic, and notoriously difficult to eliminate from the downstream of that drinking water. So where do they enter, you think? They enter our body. So consequences, before I could flip the slide, I told you all about the consequences, right? So what are the health effects I told you? Acute effects kya hai? Your skin is getting irritated, right? Your skin has irritation, eye irritation, then respiratory problems you develop with, then there are allergic reactions, some develop a rash on their bodies. And what are the chronic effects? The big C, reproductive disorders, neurological damage, developmental abnormalities, okay, not just in animals, but in human also, okay. And who are the most affected? The children, the pregnant women, the older generation, and those people whose immunity is already low. What is what is the solution? So here we have bioenzymes, which are natural catalysts produced by beneficial bacteria. Okay, when we are using the chemicals, these beneficial bacteria are completely killed by that. Okay, so here the beneficial bacteria are not killed, but they are multiplied, and they break down the organic waste molecules into harmless compounds like water and carbon dioxide, without producing any toxic residues or harming the aquatic ecosystems. So eco-friendly way of breaking down the waste. So unlike chemical cleaners, enzyme-based solutions are biodegradable. They are safe for waterways. They continue working even after the application. So bioenzymes has got this also have got this property of working 24/7, and also they are very good at killing the microbial bacteria. Okay, so they are very good disinfectants also. So all the properties which you find in that blue bottle, you will find here in bioenzymes also. All you have to do is make them. Okay. So what are the SDGs which we are covering? So Rupa ji also mentioned about the SDGs which by making bioenzymes which are covering. So I'll just briefly tell you towards the end. So the first is zero hunger. Why zero hunger? Because by making bioenzymes and selling, we are giving employment. We are generating money also over here, right? इकोनॉमी भी अच्छे से बढ़ रही है यहाँ पे. So that is why SDG 2, which is zero hunger, and due to which there are families which can survive properly, have a decent livelihood. SDG 3 is good health and well-being. So right now I told everything about how the chemicals are affecting. So it's the opposite hua when you're using your bioenzymes. So your health is improving and you're being good. SDG 6 is clean water and sanitation, right? You're getting a clean water, you're not polluting the water bodies and everything, okay? SDG 7, affordable and clean energy. What is bioenzyme made out of? It is made out of peels. What are you doing with the peels? You're going to throw them away. So definitely that is the thing. The raw material which we buy for bioenzymes is not that expensive. It's very, very affordable. You do not need any kind of extra energy resources for it. So we are covering SDG 7. Then SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. Okay. So we are doing it properly. SDG 15, life on land. SDG 17, partnership goals. Okay, so we are covering all these. And then one SDG which I missed is about the aquatic life. So I think it was SDG 14. So SDG 14 also we are covering, which is the, we are taking care of the aquatic life also. We are not causing harm to it. So we are covering all these things by just using and making bioenzymes. Okay, so we can easily replace all these toxic chemicals that contaminate water resources, and they enable sustainable water treatment at household, community levels, reducing pollution load on municipal systems and protecting groundwater quality for future generations. Okay. So here I have written a word called parampara to planet. So how here, what they're doing, just see in this picture, that Chennai's apartment complexes have reduced chemical drain pollution by 60% through a community bioenzyme program. So Mumbai's housing societies report cleaner grey water and healthy drainage systems. Rural Maharashtra women's self-help groups now produce and use bioenzymes in bulk, improving the livelihoods while protecting local water bodies. So this is what we do when we are using the bioenzymes. And of course, like how our ancestors understood the nature's balance by using fermented citrus seeds, plant extracts, and natural enzymes for cleaning, this traditional wisdom passed to generations was the key solving modern water pollution challenges and sustainability. So this was about it for today's session. So more details to come, more knowledge about how to make bioenzyme, how to turn that bioenzyme into a product. All these things we are going to learn in our 3 days program. So all the best to all of you who have joined, and make the most out of it. We are here to answer all your queries. All the best, and thank you so much for hearing me out. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Yogini ma'am, for such an insightful and practical session. You beautifully explained how sustainability is not just a concept, but a lifestyle and responsibility of every individual here. Okay. So the idea of reading the labels behind the bottles and understanding those harmful chemicals and how it is going to harm individuals, including not just humans, but entire life on earth. So your perspective of urban water cycle is certainly given all of us a valuable takeaway to reflect upon and implement it. Thank you, ma'am. Moving ahead, we now welcome another distinguished speaker with us, who is an expert in environmental sustainability and education. She is none other than Jayashree Butoria, who is a dynamic professional with an MSc in biosciences. Her experience spans environmental sustainability, industrial wastewater treatment, educational content development, language training, and international environmental communication projects. She has worked on industrial wastewater treatment projects, including CETP and UASB technology. She has also contributed to projects associated with United Nations Environment Program and the International Environmental Technology Center in Japan. Her multidimensional experience makes her session today an extremely valuable one for all of us. Now we go deeper into the science, the soul of secrets of bioenzyme. That is the properties of bioenzyme by Jayshriji. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity again. So every time, all these years, when we used to discuss about bioenzymes, being a student from microbiology background, I used to feel that this content might be heavy for some people. So I always used to start my presentation saying, we will not go into the technicalities. But today, since we all have signed up for Beyond 1310, so technicalities are inevitable. But I shall try to break them down into simpler components like our bioenzyme does. I'll try doing that. But a little bit of technicalities you will have to bear with me. And especially the topics which today I'm going to present before you are like very, very crucial topics. And certainly a few topics are like very close to my heart. I mean, I feel, given an opportunity, I would like to present individual topics someday. But yeah, because we have a time constraint, I'll have to club up 3 to 4 topics together in my presentation. Yeah, just a moment. Is it visible, please?
Yes,
Is the
ma'am.
presentation visible? Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I said, it's beyond 1310 again. So technically this should be beyond 1310 because we have done beyond 1310 once. Yeah. So we will be, briefly going through what we had done in the first beyond 1310. So the pace will be little fast because as I said that I'll have to cover few topics in the stipulated time. But I assure you that it's not going to be as monotonous. And I also urge everyone that they are crucial topics. Maybe the heading might appear like we know it all, but if we are focusing on the bulk productions or the formulations or the industrial level bioenzyme usage, then I feel that every single topic is very crucial. So today I'll be presenting. The present topics will be selection of herbs, like before formulations, what herbs do you have to select for your bioenzymes, the factors for ideal bioenzymes, efficient dilutions, antimicrobial activities. As I said, this topic is very, very close to my heart. And since microbes are the ones who are the little heroes with, kids who have been doing everything for us, so we'll have to pay a little more time for them. Yeah. So starting with the selection of herbs, like we all know that the kind of varied climate India has, ranging from tropical to temperate with diverse soil types. So it provides an ideal environment for growth of a wide variety of natural resources, which are potent for their medicinal and therapeutic properties. We all know that, our land is blessed with a huge number of wide variety of herbs with magical properties. We can just go on and on. Like the spices, for example, if I have to give you, just talk about spices, the wide range of spices that India has. There were times when British used to wage wars against it, the Spice War, and the Dutch and the Portuguese, they tried to monopolize the entire lucrative spice trade. So that level of potency our natural resources has. Now, as I said, when I was talking about the potency of the natural resources, yes, the instant thing which comes to our mind is the unique climatic and soil conditions enriched by biodiversity, which we were just talking about. But one beautiful thing about our soil and the resource type is the kind of strong hydrocarbon bonding that it has. Now, when we talk about hydrocarbon bonding, it means that there is a strong intermolecular bonding between the molecules, and that actually enhances the stability and efficacy of the compounds. Now, when I was talking about the medicinal and the therapeutic benefits or the soothing benefits of the natural resources or the herbs that we have, when it comes to strong hydrocarbon bonding, what would it mean? In that terms, it would indicate that the essential oil content is very high. We all know about the essential oils. We all, like, many of us who have been formulating bioenzymes have been using variety of essential oils. So our plants, our resources with high essential content is because of the hydrocarbon bonding. The kind of the plants, especially who are rich in hydrocarbons, for example, terpenes. Now, what they do, they produce a very concentrated volatile oil, which are responsible for fragrance and therapeutic properties. Then we have, due to the strong hydrocarbon bonding, what happens? There is a presence of lipophilic fat-soluble bioactive compounds. Now, what these compounds do, they can directly and very conveniently interact with the cell membranes. So the kind of anti-microbial or antioxidant properties which we, or the anti-inflammatory properties which we hear about the herbs is because of this property of hydrocarbon bonding. Then, of course, the greater stability and lower volatility. Now, again, because of the large hydrocarbon structures with the very stronger dispersion forces, the evaporation goes up. So when they are not evaporating very easily, then the effect lasts longer. If I have to give you a very simple example, they are the attars. We all, India has a wide range of attar market. Ittar bhi bolte hain, attars bhi bolte hain. Not those what should I say, international level mists and everything. No, our attars were the concentrated forms, and they used to last like very, very long. And still we have, and still, all that mist and everything, that's the mother product, right? They are being made from the original attar only, and we have a wide range, maybe lavender, sandalwood, rose, khaskhas, parijat, you name it and we have it. Even for spices, we have it for cinnamon, we have it for cloves. So how is it all possible? That's all possible because of the hydrocarbon bonding, which we have been talking about. So these are a few examples of very commonly found, very naturally occurring, commonly found resources in India. Like, we are gifted that our land has such beautiful plants with beautiful, magnificent properties, and they are so commonly found everywhere. I guess every household, amne samne, somewhere, we will have these magical plants. There are just a few examples like neem. So neem has the robust antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral properties. In our houses, we have been using it for ages. So all of them have the active compounds, different active compounds. We don't have to get into the names of the active compounds, like neem has azadirachtin. So all these active compounds are very stable and effective, again, because of the hydrocarbon bonding. Turmeric, by now, thanks to the fad of all those turmeric shots and turmeric latte, the world is going gaga over. So curcumin, the active molecule, we all have by now heard about curcumin, which is present in turmeric, haldi mein. So this curcumin is also the active compound which has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. And again, because of the high potency and of the hydrocarbon bondings. Similarly, tulsi, in our land, we have, for ages, we have revered tulsi for its antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties. So again, the active compound in the tulsi is eugenol, again, due to the hydrocarbon structure. So I'm just giving you a few examples of how beautifully, like, we have used these plants, and how for ages, our ancient ancestors, they have known the benefits. So we are going to incorporate the same benefits by selecting those herbs while we are making our bioenzymes. Sandalwood, for example, it's known for its soothing fragrance and antimicrobial properties, and ashwagandha for its the kind of stress buster, and it also improves the overall health. The active compounds are again different, like xanthol and withanolides. So coming to the selection now. Now we know that, we all know that there are herbs with, even technically, even if we don't know, our farmer friends, they all know the benefits. They know more than us. Maybe we are like, we just go by the books. But our farmer friends, they just know. They might not know the technical terminology or whatsoever. But they can really harvest, like, to the core, the actual benefit of the herb. So how do we select the herb? Now here I'm talking about, when we say beyond 1, 3, 10, I'm talking one level ahead, that if you are selecting your herb, there has to be initially some key points which you have to keep in your mind, like the purpose of bioenzyme. What is the purpose of the bioenzyme? If you're making bioenzyme, if you're trying to formulate some product, you have to determine whether the bioenzyme, you want to use it for cleaning or for personal care or for gardening or for industrial use or for bioremediation. There are a lot of applications of bioenzymes. So where exactly you want your product to fit in? Depending on that, you have to select the herb. The second thing is availability. Very, very important. See, what happens is we don't really have to run pillar to post to acquire a particular herb. In every region, there are herbs, maybe with more or less different, but maybe more or less similar components. So we have to make better use of herbs in our local region. So here, go local will be the mantra. And properties that match your intended use again. As I've talked just a few seconds before, where exactly you want to use your bioenzyme. So we have different segments, just again a few ones, like if you want the antibacterial or antifungal properties to harvest in your bioenzyme, you might as well use neem, tulsi. Similarly, antiviral, eucalyptus, natural fragrance chahiye to lavender, mint, insect repellent chahiye to lemongrass, neem, and so on. Again, in which field you want to use? You want to use it for gardening purposes or household cleaning or personal care or pet care or odor control or bioremediation or industrial use, whatever it is. As per that, you will have to select your herb, your formulations. Now, again, a few examples of aromatic plants with sweet, fragrant aroma with calming and relaxing properties, and often used in aromatherapy. If you want to use your bioenzyme for cosmetic purposes, you might as well go for jasmine, rose, lavender. If you want your bioenzyme as a natural cleaner, you might go for soap nut, shikakai, papaya, etc. Again, they are like very, very soft on your skin. Our skin has a natural moisturizing factor. What happens is, when we are using, like just now Yogini has listed, a whole lot of harmful, toxic laden detergents and products which we have been using all this while. So what happens is, when you use a product, there are researchers which claim that just in 13 seconds, those harmful toxic chemicals are going to seep into your skin, and they're going to affect your natural moisturizing factor, which fortunately our bioenzyme protects it. So we have all these natural plants, natural resources with such gentle cleansing properties, so that we can use and we can keep our NMF, which is the natural moisturizing factor, intact. Again, if you want your bioenzyme to possess natural insect repellents, then might as well you have this galangal, neem, citronella, which are rich in antibacterial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory, and they also have treat parasitic infections. These are just an overview, a few examples to give you an idea that how you can go about selecting your herbs while formulating your bioenzyme. Now, how these herbs, they get infused in your bioenzymes, how the bioenzymes capture the actual essence of the herb. So what happens during the fermentation process, when the organisms, the microbes, when they are breaking down the organic material, so they will break down the herbs also into simpler compounds. And in that process, the active compounds of the herbs, which are the essential oils or antioxidants or antimicrobial agents, they are now released into the bioenzyme solution. So now what you have is a herb infused, those properties with those beautiful properties, the herbs infused bioenzyme solution. So naturally, a bioenzyme solution already has that cleaning and disinfecting properties. Naturally also, by default, it has. again, when you're infusing it with herbs, there is a cherry on the top. So there will extra benefits you can harvest from the bioenzyme, and that bioenzyme solution can be a multifunctional, potent natural cleaner. So overall factors for ideal bioenzymes, we have raw materials. Again, we all know the proportion, we all know the raw materials, we all know that it's just the citrus peels and the proportion is 1:3:10, and the fermentation period is around 3 months. But again, now this raw material quality, it directly affects your enzyme quality. Why? Because see, fruit and vegetable peels, we all know that they have nutrients, they have good microbes. We want to harvest them. We want to use them. Now, what happens if you are a little carefree on the side that fine, since the decomposition process is going on, might as well it can decompose a rotten fruit or a moldy fruit or some oily or cooked food. No, then the entire activity will get affected. So at any cost, we have to avoid rotten, oily, cooked foods or meat or fish, or like, Yogini was talking about the microplastics. We might have some packaging or something with microplastics, and without our knowledge, it might just seep into your bioenzyme solution. In that case, it's going to affect it badly. It might emit foul odor, and unnecessary harmful microbes also might be get present in the bioenzyme solution. Again, the standard 1:3:10 ratio, we all know it. But what happens if there is too much waste and too little sugar or too little water? The foul smell comes. When there is too little sugar, then there will be poor fermentation and the enzyme activity will not be up to the mark. And if it is too little water, then there will be improper microbial movement. So here again, water, jaggery, everything, the container that you're using, everything has an importance of how you're using it. See, end of the day, we are thinking big. Now we want it for industrial level or, for bulk production. So we have to be very careful at every step. Like water, for instance, if I have to talk about water has to be at any cost like clean, chlorine-free water. Tap water, filtered water, everything is fine. But chlorine-free. Why chlorine-free? Why do we add chlorine? What is chlorination all about? Chlorination is about killing germs, right? In the municipality waters also to an extent, or in our swimming pools. Why do we add chlorine? Because they would retard, they would affect the microbes. So if your water has chlorine, the good microbes all will die and our enzyme solution will not be up to the mark. Then ideal temperature, very important again, 25 to 35. So here everything is about optimization. Even if it is selection of herbs, even if it is the ideal factors for bioenzyme or the antimicrobial activities, here everything is about optimization. So temperature also, you have to go with optimal temperatures. If it is too low, then the fermentation will be very slow and microbial activity almost will die. And if it is too high, of course, it's going to kill the good bacteria or whatever it is. Again, pH 3 to 4, very important. Only acidic pH will be helpful, because the organic acids which in the equations which we see when the fermentation process is like, it's not just single step process, it's 2 or 3 steps process. So in the first step, we have this unstable ethanol which is forming, and in the second step, a more stable acetic acid forms. So all such organic acids, they will only form in this pH, which is 3 to 4. And it will also prevent the harmful microbes, thus it can act as a preservative. Then we have the fermentation period. We have already talked about the fermentation period. Already told you that there are 2 to 3 steps. In the first step, the conversion of sugar to ethanol, which is highly unstable. And in the second step, the oxidation of alcohol, again that ethanol, to organic acids. And in the final step, we have this complex organic matter. There are certain enzymes which act and they break the complex organic matter into simpler substances and organic acids, of course. Microbial activity, of course, play a very important role. And how would you know that your microbial activity is not up to the mark? If there is rotten smell or black mold or spoilage occurring, then you will know that the microbial activity. There would be various factors, like we have to burp the containers. Maybe, if you expose it to a lot of aeration, lot of oxygen, then maybe certain aerobic bacteria might get in and they might, yield the spoilage. So oxygen control, as I was telling, process mostly is anaerobic, but not completely. We all have been listening this word after bioenzymes, that it's an anaerobic method. What is anaerobic? That it doesn't need oxygen. That's why at all times we need our containers very airly, tight containers. We don't want any kind of oxygen. But yes, in the second level, when the oxidation is happening, a little bit of oxygen required, but we need not necessarily expose it to the oxygen. That the ethanol which is produced, that by default it will be taken care of. So as we have just I have told you that too much of oxygen will be will yield mold growth and spoilage. Burping of containers is very, very essential, that you have to release the gases, because gases like carbon dioxide are formed, and it would also prevent from bursting of the containers. The containers will be, if they're swelling, the bursting might occur. So the tank design, container or tank design always should be HDPE, like very good grade HDPE plastic tanks with lids, and it should not be non-metallic. Again, why? Because the organic acids which we have just discussed, the acids might react with the metal containers, and it might, just the entire product will go off to waste. So it has to be plastic containers only with gas outlets, 20 to 30% empty space for circulation and exchange of gases, and also it can prevent bursting of the tanks. Contamination control, at every step you have to make sure that you're controlling the contamination. See, basically it's like you're pickling certain things, right? When we are pickling, jab achar dalte hain, what we have to do, we have to be really very careful that whether my hands are wet, whether the container where I'm putting my pickle, it's wet or not. It shouldn't be dirty, it should not be wet. Similarly, all the tools which you are using for the fermentation and everything, so they have to be clean and dry every time. Otherwise, again, bad odor and bad spoilage might occur. So next will be smell and appearance. There should not be any black mold, no putrid odor, no rotten smell, no green black fungal growth, no slimy. Sure. At any time, the liquid, when the bioenzyme is ready, it will always emit a very sweet, soury, earthy, fermenty smell, and the liquid will be clear. There will not be any kind of precipitation. Yes, sometimes the white precipitates which are yeast, that is an exception, but no black, green, dark blue, rotten smell or molds, nothing is acceptable. Then after your fermentation is done, you have to properly filter your liquid. You have to remove the solid particles. Maybe you can use, since we're talking about bulk productions again, you might use mesh filters or settling tanks. And in airtight bottles, you'll have to store in a cool, dry place where that would actually extend shelf life. And occasionally, you have to keep checking, keep stirring and monitoring the product. And the older, the better. Now, in these bioenzymes, again, now coming to the technical part, all these factors we all knew. Now, what happens? Studies have, every study, in fact, has shown somebody scribbling on the presentation. Can we please stop it? So, yeah, thank you. So, yeah, every study has revealed that the enzymes which we were talking about, that in the second stage, in the third stage, the complete decomposition and complete breakage is being done by very, very crucial, very important enzymes. So there are listed 7 different kinds of enzymes which our bioenzymes usually possess, and that increases the potency of the bioenzyme solutions. So if I talk about the first 3, amylase, cellulase, invertase, these 3 enzymes, they actually breaks down the carbohydrates. They are naturally present in our saliva and pancreas for digestion. they are naturally present in plant cell wall. This shows that our bioenzyme is at par with the nature. It's not different from the natural process that is happening on the planet Earth. It is at par, and bioenzyme is not a new concept. For age old, even when you don't make it, certain substances, the decomposition, that the bioenzymes only are being produced. Just that now we have started harvesting that energy. That's the basic difference. Otherwise, the concept is age old. It's not a new concept. So our nature already had these enzymes, made be amylase. So now what does that mean? Now, if my bioenzyme has the same enzymes that nature has, I might as well use it for the same thing which nature does. Like I will use my, if the bioenzyme has amylase, I can use it for, because it's breaking starch, complex carbohydrates. I will use it for bread or brewing industries or sugar industries. I will use it as my detergent, because now it will, we have studied here that it's breaking the starch. So if it is my, stubborn, tough, starchy stains, it will take care of that. So I'll use my bioenzyme for the same thing. Here again, in biofuel production, now, because in the plant cell wall, already cellulase is there and the bioenzyme also has it. So it can easily digest the straw, wood, paper. So what happens is those agricultural residues, पराली बोलते हैं कई जगह पे, that stubble और जो कृषि अवशेष होता है, what happens, you can use it in digesting that. You can use it in the composting, because everything is plant residues, right? So they can easily take care. The bioenzymes will easily take care. Again, protease hai, protease will break the proteins. So if there are stains which are of food, grease or blood, the bioenzyme will easily take care of it, because it actually can break the proteins into amino acids. Like we have phytase, very important. So what happens in the animal husbandry? So phytase breaks this phytate. Now what happens is, in maximum seeds and grains, it is naturally present in the gut of gut microbes of animals and everything. So in the seeds and grains, most of the phosphorus is present in the phytate form. Around 70 to 80% it is present in phytate form. So we need phytase enzyme. So, for example, if I talk about pigs, if I talk about poultry, you are giving them the livestock, the feedstock. But the feedstock, if it doesn't have enough amount of this phytase enzyme, they will not be able to digest that those seeds and grains, because they are full of phytate, which only phytase can digest. So now what happens, like we take nutritional supplements, what is happening in the animal husbandry, they are giving, in the food stock, they are giving extra phosphorus supplements to pigs or to the poultry, so that the seeds and grains, they can get easily digested. Again, now in the process, what happens, now when they are excreting the waste, around 20 to 30% of phosphorus is again getting released, and that is yielding the pollution in water. There is a lot of phosphorus pollution. So this beautiful enzyme phytase, what it does, it releases phosphorus and it reduces phosphorus pollution also. Since it is releasing the phosphorus, like in farming industry, if we are using bioenzymes, it will naturally release the phytase now. So we don't have to give the additional nutritional supplement. So the natural elements will be taken care of. So it will also reduce the phosphorus pollution. So hence, these are the 7 different enzymes which are usually present in the bioenzymes. So now the parameters which we considered before making products. Here we are in Beyond 1310, we are only talking about how formulations, how to make our products, how to use them in a bigger purpose. So these are the main factors which we have to take care. The dilution, the pH, we have discussed about the pH, the age of the bioenzyme, we have already discussed the older the better, the antibacterial and antifungal, anti-radiation properties, and the 7 enzymes which we have listed. That the bioenzymes with all these factors will be a miracle enzyme or a wonderful product. Coming to the dilutions, again, very, very important concept. See, dilutions are it's not that, you just add some solvent. Dilutions are not meant for that. Dilutions we have every industry where dilutions will be taken care of. Some certain industry use dilutions to optimize the cost. Certain industries will use the dilution to maintain the product quality. See, because what happens is there are different aspects of dilutions. If you want to control the enzyme activity in food industries and everything, we cannot, like if you have a guest in your house, can you just offer them the full concentrate? If you want to offer them some juice or, we don't offer them the full concentrate, right? It's going to burn because the acidic environment is going to burn their throat. It's going to have health hazards. We'll have to dilute the solution. So again, it depends because enzymes, they work very fast, and if they are very concentrated, they are going to damage our products. So we'll have to take care of the dilutions in food industry. Dilutions are used so that to improve the texture and flavor, and dilutions are used to improve the efficiency, because once they dilute, like for example in farming industry, in agriculture, if I have to talk, if I just add the concentrated solution onto the soil, what happens? Just a patch of the soil will absorb the entire concentrated bioenzyme. But if I'm diluting my liquid, there are two benefits. We always recommend diluting our solutions overnight. Why? So that there's a multiplication of good bacteria. One. Second, there will be uniform mixing. Now, because the dilutions are, done proportionally, when we are adding in the fields on the soil, it is giving us uniform mixing. So the soil will have a better contact with the materials. Hence, we can use our product efficiently. Again, as I've said, to reduce the cost. For example, now if you are making bioenzymes by carefully choosing, hand picking the herbs, and with utmost perseverance, you are making your bioenzyme. Would you want to go it just for a toss like that by using it in a concentrated form every time? Plus, it's taking good amount of time also. Given those conditions, we really want to optimize everywhere, everything. So to reduce the cost, to reduce the labor, to reduce the time, we have to go for dilutions. Plus, these solutions work beautifully only in the dilutions. They cannot work in the concentrated forms. See, they are full of bacteria. When in, during school presentations and everywhere, I always tell the kids, like, if you're not waking up, your mama will have to pour some water on you, then she'll, have you wake up. Similarly, our little tiny heroes, the microbes, in the concentrated form, they are more or less in a dormant form. They also need water, which is dilution, so that we can wake them up, and then they will come into their full potential, and then they'll just, do laborious task and beautifully fulfill all our requirements. Then for safe biological and medical uses, again, dilutions are used, in different forms for digestive enzymes and all. They are carefully diluted in pharmaceutical industries before. And again, concentrated tissues like biological and medical stuff, if I'm talking about, I cannot use the concentrated forms as such. It might irritate tissues. See, even in the synthetic chemical products, everywhere they always ask you for a patch test. That again is a subtle way of diluting, right? That you cannot just apply it all over. A small patch test. So if the product is already diluted, the risks are very low. So hence dilutions are important in these industries also. Environmental applications, of course, in the wastewater treatment and sewage treatment, as I say, diluted bioenzymes work best. So we have to dilute. In detergent industry also, you have to dilute. Otherwise, what happens? Apart from the grit and the stain and the tough stains, the fabric also might get affected. Hence, we are always using dilutions in different fields. In agriculture also, I've already explained that how we have to dilute our products for uniform mixing, and that also, because see, again, the acidic nature, as a foliar spray, if you're using bioenzyme or any solution, like for instance, all this while, even the chemical sprays and all, they also have to dilute it. They cannot just directly expose it to the leaves or to the soil. It is going to affect the microbial activity. It is going to enhance the toxicity. We cannot do that. And hence dilutions are very, very important in overall field, and especially if we're talking about bioenzymes. Dilutions work, enzymes work better only with dilutions. So the principle of dilution, we don't have to go too much into the detail, but yes, we all have studied in our school days also. So the basic formula is C1V1 is equal to C2V2, where C1V1 are the concentration and volume of the initial solution, C2V2 are the concentration and volume of the final solution, which is after dilution. So dilution में होता क्या है? Basically, the solute remains constant. Dilution is all about adding solvent, right? The solute amount of solute is always constant. A solute, for example, if I say, मान लो you have some solution with 8% solution you have, 100 ml of 8% solution you have. Now you want to dilute it to 2%. So what will you do? You will apply this formula. You have the initial concentration, which is 8%. You have the initial volume, which is 100 ml. You have the final concentration. You want the desired concentration, which is 2%. So you will apply this formula and you will estimate how much volume of water will you have to add to make the solution come from 8% to 2%. So this is how dilutions work. And specifically when we are talking about bulk industries, we'll have to really take special care about how we dilute our products. And here there are some, the magic of dilutions. It says that how sometimes the dilution enhances the properties. Like I've given you an example that if there is a guest in your house and if you give them concentrated juice or if you give them the concentrated sharbat or whatever, will that taste better? Or if you dilute it optimally, will that taste better? Similarly, in bioenzyme also, if you're talking about certain minerals which we have, certain nutrients which we have in our bioenzyme solutions, it is studied that after dilutions, they have increased. Like say the oxygen level. There are different dilutions. These two rows are different dilutions. If the dilution is less, maybe it is just 19.58, but if the dilution is increased, the oxygen level also increased. Similarly, this is what I was talking about, the optimization. Not always more, the better. Sometimes less is more. So we have to really take care of the dilutions. These are the, see, again, there is no hard and fast rule. We have to go by the topography of where and how you have to use your applied. But yes, these are certain, you can call them case studies, or when we have talked with different people, different farmers, how they have benefited out of bioenzymes, how they have used. Just a good idea you might get, like in the farming industry, during flowering season, the dilution is 1:100. If you're going for drip irrigation, 1:1000. As foliar spray, 1:100. Flood irrigation, 1:10,000. Seed germination stage, 1:100. And so on. Composting, 1:500. Again, if you have to take care of, the construction or the bioremediation of lakes, 1:50,000. So nowhere we are using the concentrated bioenzyme. Every time, everywhere, we are actually using the diluted product for enhanced properties. This is another chart where you can see the concentrations, like, in the washing machine, toilet bowl, the cistern, the ponds, how are the dilutions? And again, see, as I've mentioned, keeping them overnight will always be beneficial. So there are different ways of how you can dilute. It's like 10 to 50 times for certain things, like for carpets and tatami mats, the shoes or the kitchen sink. If 200 to 500 times for air-conditioned rooms, humidifiers and everything. 500 times for bathroom sinks, for cabinets and refrigerators, for pet care, for toilets. 500 to 1,000 times for indoor purifying things and the closets and everything. So likewise, we'll have to establish a dilution ratio. There's a lot of permutation and combination that you can do, and then you can come to because every enzyme, like every achar, sabke haath ka achar is different. Even if I'm adding the same ingredients, ये नहीं बोलते हैं कि मम्मी का हाथ का अचार, माँ के हाथ का अचार. Why they are different? Because there are different climatic conditions. There are different regions will have different water quality, different air quality, different produce. Not all the mangoes in every region are same. We have whole wide range of mangoes also in India. Not everywhere the same mango is being harvested. So similarly, bioenzymes also, even if you're adding the same composition, same components, standardization is difficult. So it is going to be little different from region to region, from person to person. So you will have to experiment a lot of permutation and combinations before establishing a single dilution for your product. Finally, the antimicrobial efficacy, antimicrobial properties of our little superheroes. Various tests have been carried to determine the presence of antibacterial, antifungal properties, as well as the effectivity of bioenzymes. Because when we are comparing with the products, with the commercial products, we have to establish these tests. That's what they claim, right? इतने germs मार देते हैं, इतना stain free कर देते हैं. So we'll have to actually compare with those products that whether our bioenzyme is at par with the commercial products or not. So various antimicrobial tests have been conducted. So here with utmost pride and joy, I would want to share one thing. So today my antimicrobial presentation, which I'm going to share before you. So it is one of my first few presentations, maybe 4 years, 5 years back when we started delivering presentations in colleges and everything. One of my first few presentations. So there, a batch where I presented, so few of the students, they have taken up bioenzyme because they got inspired and they have taken up bioenzymes as their dissertation topic for their post-graduation, which actually is like, a big honor for me. And with, so much of gratitude, I share this, that not only did they spend 2 years of their life, post-graduation is not a joke. And in post-graduation, they have chosen bioenzymes as their topic. Plus, they have shared the results with me. So I'm like, very, very thankful to Isha Patel and Riya Modi for sharing their research and sharing their entire dissertation theme with me. So here, bioenzymes have been significantly found to reduce BOD with 60%, COD, oil and grease almost 90%, total suspended solids with 80%. There are numerous studies which we have, which in fact, when we are doing the bioremedial work, these are the factors which we keep in mind, right? Because that's what you have to do when you are going for bioremediation. You are taking care of the COD, BOD, TSS and everything. So there are various studies that, again, I was talking about the permutation combination. You have to check it for yourself whether the 5% solution is more efficient or whether the 10% solution is more efficient. As per different studies, people have estimated different dilutions, that these dilutions work better for this function of bioenzyme. So now presenting you before the study of what I was talking about, Isha and Riya has done. So this is a study which could be done. We don't need labs, but yes, we need vision. So these are the studies which every household we can do. So they have tested the antifungal properties for bioenzymes. So now they have used bread. So they have used mixed veg bioenzyme, mixed fruit bioenzyme, pineapple bioenzyme, neem bioenzyme, flour bioenzyme, and this is a control. They haven't added anything. So now what are the results? The results show that in the control, in which nothing has been, after 12 days, I will not say after 12 days, in fact, before 12 days only, we'll see, further in the chart, I have the chart also, this kind of black molds appeared. And in different enzymes, different other enzymes, in different periods of time, but there is no blackish mold. So with that, we can always, molds are what? Molds are fungus. So this proves that there is antifungal activity in bioenzyme. There are, flower bioenzymes, there are mixed fruits, there are pineapple, there is neem. So here also you can see certain growth, but definitely it's not this dark black mold. And this is the mixed veg bioenzyme that she has used, that they have used in the bread. Now we can see the result. Now see the results. After 12 days, they have done the study for 12 days. Control within 5th day, the control bread, the first bread with the black mold, within 5th day, it has, shown considerable mold growth. So it could sustain only for 4 days. The bread, when it was kept in the optimal conditions outside, in the normal environment, it could sustain without any fungal growth only for 4 days. Fifth day onwards, the control showed significant amount of mold growth. Pineapple enzyme could sustain till 10 days. Only after 10th day, some growth has been seen. That also is not as dirty, as dusky as what control showed. Flower bioenzyme, they showed growth from day 8. Neem bioenzyme from day 9. Mixed fruit bioenzyme from day 10. But mixed vegetable bioenzyme, they say that they haven't found any kind of growth till day 12 also. They had to end their experiment on day 12, because that's how I started keeping in mind. One experiment cannot go on and on, right? So at day 12, end of the day 12 also, they could not see any kind of fungal growth, which actually means that our bioenzyme has shown antifungal properties. Now studying about the antibacterial properties. Now these are the Petri dishes. They do the Petri dish test. So what they do is, this is NS is normal saline, and this is distilled water, which they are using as control. Again, they have used various enzymes. They have used neem, they have used mixed fruit, mixed vegetable, and pineapple enzymes. And they have studied for different organisms. Like they've studied for E. coli, they've studied for Pseudomonas, and they've studied for Klebsiella. So here you can see the zones of inhibition. What are the zones of inhibition? To what extent you can inhibit the bacteria? Like if I'm talking about some antibiotic, any antibiotic, or broad spectrum antibiotic, how do we know that that's a broad spectrum antibiotic? So we have to do these kinds of tests, wherein they measure the of the zones of inhibition. By that the larger the zones of inhibition is, that the potent the antibiotic is. Similarly, we have studied our enzymes also. They have shown clear zones of inhibition, and they have shown that the growth was inhibited, and the bioenzymes from mixed fruit and neem, whereas other bioenzymes showed moderate degree of inhibition. Mixed fruit and neem, as per their experiment, worked best, and moderate degree of inhibition was seen in other test cultures. So here in this, you can clearly see that for pineapple bioenzyme, when they were studying the E. coli bacteria, that's a gut-friendly bacteria, everywhere it is found. So in E. coli, they have seen 15.5 zone of inhibition from pineapple enzyme. Pseudomonas, they have found 12. Klebsiella, they have found 12. Staphylococcus, they have found 12. Similarly, for flour, also for neem, they have found the best results, as they have just mentioned, that neem and mixed fruit yielded best results for them. Again, for you, the results might be different. That again depends on your experimentation, your species, which species you're choosing, which products you're choosing, where is the produce coming from. This is their experiment that they found. Obviously, neem has antibacterial properties. So neem worked best for them, according to them, and mixed fruits worked best according to them on different types of bacterial strains. We have studied about different enzymes. Their studies, so likewise, they have done studies with different organisms. I've just given you examples of just a few organisms. They have done their studies with different enzymes on different organisms, on different surfaces also. Like we had an example of bread surface. Their main study was for estimating antibacterial properties for the hand wash. That was their main study. But in the process, they studied the other things also. So they've studied for the enzyme activity of all these, we have listed the 7 main enzymes. So out of that, the 5 enzymes that they have studied, they have seen that, okay, here they have said that, they have altered the conditions also. We have talked about the optimal conditions, the optimal temperature, the optimal pH, the optimal fermentation period, the optimal tank design and everything. So what they have said, what they have done, they have altered optimum conditions also, just to see that whether the enzymes are still capable, still potent when the right are not provided. So then they have seen that in pineapple enzyme, pineapple bioenzyme, a lot of these enzymes have been retarded. Pectinase was still found. In flour enzyme, protease was found, but other enzymes were not there. Neem enzyme, protease was there. In mixed fruit, even when the conditions were not optimal, still mixed fruit enzyme exhibited protease activity, lipase activity, and pectinase activity. Is it not beautiful? Is it not magical? That how these products really they work beyond our expectation. Mixed vegetable protease activity only was found and the other activities were not found because the optimal conditions were not provided. Now here this is the as I've mentioned that their main study was to establish the antibacterial properties in the hand wash. That was their main study. So what they have done while studying the antibacterial property of the hand wash, what they have done, they have the formulations we have studied in, we have dealt with different products in Beyond 1310 Part 1. In Beyond 1310, this time also we will be doing various, ingredients which we use while formulating our products. So here they have used soap nut solution, acacia gum solution, and crude bioenzyme. They have used these three products and they try to formulate their hand wash. So here in their hand wash, what they have done, initially what they have done, the concentration of soap nut and acacia gum solutions were optimized by maintaining one concentration steady while varying the other, which means at different points, maybe soap nut solution, they have fixed, but acacia gum and crude bioenzyme, they have altered. At certain points, acacia gum solution was standard, crude bioenzyme, just to establish that in what proportion the dilutions will work better and we will have a better formulated product. So here you can see the concentration of soap nut solution when they have kept 1 ml, they have increased the concentration of gum, acacia gum, till 5 ml. Got me? So end of the day, what they have found that when the concentration of soap nut solution and concentration of gum both were maintained on the same level, then they felt that their product worked best. Then they, when we say best product, it's not only in the antimicrobial properties, even in their aesthetics also. It looked better, it smelled better, it performed better. Now, I've told this in the beginning of my presentation that the only way to compare that what all we claim is true. Of course, the researchers are being there. There are extensive research on various subjects, on various fields of bioenzymes. But the only way, instantly one can check is to compare with the normal, natural, what should I say? Not natural, I'm sorry, but the commercial disinfectants. So when we do our study while comparing with the commercial disinfectant, when they are tested on the same organisms which we have tested, the Salmonella, the Staphylococcus, let's see what the results were here. You can ignore the names. We are not bad mouthing, we're just comparing the products, so I'm okay with it. So here we have the bioenzyme based hand wash with different enzymes, pineapple enzyme and fruit enzyme, neem enzyme, mixed fruit, mixed vegetable, and mixed enzyme, all of these mixed together. And then we have chemical-based hand wash. So what we see, like we have talked about the zones of inhibition, the larger the zones in MM, the more potent the product is. So here there is a comparative chart of a chemical-laden synthetic products, hand wash, and a bioenzyme hand wash. So we have seen that there is not, there is no such major significant difference in both the products. If my enzyme is giving 17 mm zone of inhibition, the chemical enzyme was just giving 19 mm. There was no, this could be just ignored in some kinds of errors also, right? Same, for Klebsiella, my enzyme did better. It did perform better than the conventional enzyme, conventional product. Salmonella, my enzyme, is little, on a lower side. But for Pseudomonas, again, my bioenzyme performed better than the chemical-based hand wash. This is a comparative study that revealed that bioenzyme hand wash actually exhibited analogous results to the chemical-based hand wash, and with additional benefits like chemical-based hand wash. If they are claiming they are only getting rid of the microbial growth, maybe, but who is going to take care of the natural moisturizing factor? Who is going to take care of my environmental sustainability, right? Who is going to take care of my cost effectiveness? Who is going to take care of my harmful chemicals? This chemical-based hand wash is not going to do it. But my bioenzyme-based hand wash, apart from the same results, it is giving me additional benefits of other properties also. Here, another study, as I told you, they have done a variety of studies using different microorganisms on different surfaces. So here, another study which they have done is on the floor. They have used certain swabs while cleaning the, after cleaning the floor. So they have used, after cleaning with pineapple-based bioenzyme, after cleaning with mixed fruit-based bioenzyme, after cleaning with mixed vegetable, and after cleaning with mixture of all the bioenzymes. They have produced the results here. And similar results they have produced. I'm sorry. Sorry. Just a minute. Give me a minute. Yeah. Can you see? Can you see the slides?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. So on different surfaces, like we're talking about the floor. So here only bioenzymes have been used on the left. On the right side, they have used the commercial products also, like Lysol and all. And they've shown us the difference of how the floors were, they have taken this a swab test from the clean floors and they have seen the microbial activity. So here also they have said that the results were more or less like, a floor cleaned only with water, it had significant microbial growth, whereas floors cleaned with the prepared bioenzymes, they actually showed substantial reduced microbial growth. So this is the comparison which they have made to prove that our bioenzymes actually indeed shows antibacterial, antifungal properties with additional benefits of taking care of the environment and protecting our health and overall things. So thank you so much for your patient hearing. And again, I take a moment to thank Isha and Ria for their beautiful study. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. So you have just given the full university lecture in around 60 minutes or so. Okay. So many people like me were knowing turmeric was used for cooking, flowers were used for puja, and sandalwood for putting tilak on idols. Okay. But the same items you give a different perspective, like where they are used as a for fragrance purpose. Okay. So you simplified the complex concepts beautifully and helped us to understand the science, properties, and the practical value of bioenzymes of different components. The presentation of test results helped us to understand better and gave a lot of clarity to us. Okay. I'm sure we have gained a tremendous clarity and insights from your presentation, ma'am. Thank you.
Can we take some questions?
Any questions? Yeah.
Please raise your hand and we can ask the questions. And we need to do quickly because we have 2 more lectures. Yes, Pragati?
Yeah, thank you so much. This was very informative, enlightening. I'm a beginner, so a lot of things were very new for me. So the questions, I'll just list out few of them. So can you please suggest some alternative tank options, which is non-plastic? And you mentioned about dilution. Enlighten. I saw the proportions as well, but can you just give one instance about dilution? And the third question is about control. When you mentioned control, what does control mean? And my last question is, I mean, I could not really understand the soap nut example that you gave. If you can please help me understand that, slightly, like I'm a completely non-science background. So, just these points. The tank, one tank is one question, then dilution, one instance of dilution, and the control, and elaboration on the soap nut example. These were my questions.
Yeah, Pragati, we'll take one at a time. I have short-term memory kind of problem.
Yeah,
So you were
sorry.
talking about, yeah, no, that's okay. You were talking about alternative for plastic. May I know why?
I want to avoid any sort of plastic. So can I use a cement tank or?
Exactly. That was the reason I asked. See, we all have been hardwired to, I don't know why we have turned plastics into villain. But trust me, what if I say plastic is gold? Only thing is we have not been using it diligently. All you need is to use it with vigilance. If, like, you just don't throw your gold every. Plastic is not the problem, Pragatiji. Disposal of plastic is problem. So we have been using plastics like just, with carefree attitude. That actually is the problem. But if I say that I can do without plastic, no, I cannot. I'm sorry, we cannot do without plastic. I mean, we cannot fight. Here, maybe for once in a while, maybe I can ask you to be more precautious, more careful, and go for a glass container. That could be possible. I'm not saying there's no alternative, but as you said, you are a beginner. I would not recommend that. Second, I mean, this thought process, that plastics are bad. I mean, I'm not somebody who would advocate that. I cannot advocate that plastic, in fact, is bad. It's just the how we waste it, how the plastic disposal is the problem. So that is one, especially in these enzyme solutions, and in other, there are very varied medicines and everything where plastics are used because they are very inert. They do not react. So we have to harness the important properties of the product before we are using it. That's what I believe in. I hope I've answered your question. What
Yes,
was the
so
second one?
this would be the most I mean, is there any other alternative? Can I use like a cement tank or something like that?
Pragati, you will understand more about these containers and batching in the coming sessions. So let us do.
Okay, I'll just
Yeah.
quickly. There were other questions about dilution. Can you just give one instance about dilution? Say, for example, for farming purposes, just one example.
Yeah, I've already done that when I said like for farming purposes, if you're using as a foliar spray, not just put concentrated bioenzyme on my leaves or directly on my soil. I'll have to dilute it, get it into a optimal condition before I use it in my farming practices.
And what does control mean? Was my next question.
Control means where you are not altering any kind of conditions. Like when I've given you the bread example, the control means I haven't done anything with the bread. But in the rest of the other things, I have put the enzymes.
Got it.
Yeah. Control means the utmost which we believe that should be the possibility. That is control.
And my last question was about the soap nut example that you gave. I couldn't, really get the concentration.
Yeah. Do you know what soap nuts are?
Yeah, I know what soap nuts are, but that example I couldn't understand, maybe because I'm not from a science background or.
No, that's okay. But what example I've given? I'm sorry.
You gave an example about concentration of soap nut. There was a picture of soap nut and.
Oh, in the hand wash? In the hand wash?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
So soap nut they are using for the natural cleaning properties. So they have, because they were experimenting that what amount of soap nut will yield us the desired result. As we are talking about the dilutions, if 5 ml soap nut can give me the same properties, why will I go for 10 ml soap nut, right? I will not end up wasting the product. So they were experimenting different permutations and combinations, and they established that amount of soap nut also did wonderful job.
pardon me for like really naive question, but soap nut is infused later, or is it used as in the 1:3:10 proportion? Like where is it introduced in the
That
bioenzyme?
depends. You can make soap nut bioenzyme as a whole, or you can make your bioenzyme, then infuse it with soap nuts. Both possibilities are there. Again, depending on where you exactly want to use your product.
Okay, I'll.
I guess you will learn more about all these formulations and everything, Prakriti ji.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your patience. Thanks.
Not at all. Thank you.
We'll take up one more question before we move on to the next session.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
I'm Staria from Sri Lanka. Thank you so much for this session. It was very informative. Ma'am, you previously said about plastic being a good container for fermenting bioenzyme. But I do have a concern. I don't know whether it's valid. Could microplastics get infused into the bioenzyme at some stage during the fermentation process?
See, that's why I've mentioned a very good grade HDPE level of plastics. So there is another. See, there are two things. One, when we are using it for domestic uses, we always use the recyclable plastic containers, which are already being used for food grade plastic containers. So if you look at the behind of the plastic, there is a number given on every plastic. You can do the experiment right away in your house, and every number signifies what kind of plastic that is. So HDPE is very good grade plastic. So the microplastic seepage and the possibility will be very low.
Okay, one more question, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that explanation. So there was an experiment that you showed where bread was involved, white bread was involved. Another thing that I thought of was, could there be preservatives in the bread that could kind of interfere with the experiment? Could there have...
Yeah, why not? But it's the bread obviously has preservatives. That's how it can last, this longer. Our conventional household roti will not. It definitely has preservatives which lasted for 5 days, 6 days. But the same amount of preservatives are there in the different bread also. They are the breads from the same, this loaves from the same batch. So I'm sure if there is interference, standardization. It is there everywhere. Hence the control. When we say control, that means that all the conditions except one are the same. That's what control means.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. The next question, like Rami Pai. Can you go ahead and ask the question, or like shall we move ahead? Okay. So we'll move on to the next session. So learning becomes more powerful when we hear real life examples. We have another inspiring success story straight from the heart of Chandigarh. So we'll call upon Satish Jain, who has been managing Bioenzyme Bank at Raipur, making bioenzymes accessible to community like public resource, a truly Swadeshi vision in action. Satish Jain, we are super excited to hear from you.
Unmute myself, please. Namaskar. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
मेरी बायोएंजाइम की सॉरी आई विल स्पीक इन हिंदी. इज इट ओके?
या.
मेरी बायोएंजाइम की जर्नी 2019 आज से लगभग 6 साल पहले चालू हुई और उसके बाद में लगातार बायोएंजाइम बैच कर रहा हूं मैं, और देश में या काम के लिए जहाँ पे भी जरूरत होती है, चाहे वो हमारे एंटरप्रेनर्स हों, चाहे वो एग्रीकल्चर वाले हों, इंस्टीट्यूट्स हो, उसको जो रिसर्च वगैरह के लिए जो जरूरत पड़ती है वो यहाँ से मैं भेजता हूँ। मैंने अपनी यात्रा 2 लीटर के डब्बे से 2000 लीटर के टैंक तक मैंने किया, और स्टिल बट आई हैव स्टॉप बैचिंग इट नाउ, क्योंकि अभी मेरे को थोड़ा संभालने में मुश्किल हो रही है। बट आई हैव सफिशिएंट स्टॉक टू शेयर, to send it across country for this purposes. और जो लोग भी बायोएंजाइम बना रहे हैं वो उससे प्रोडक्ट लाइन में और बाकी लाइनों में भी आगे जा सकते हैं उन लोग। और मेरे पास में लगभग 50-60 से ज़्यादा वेरिएंट्स है। अगर किसी को अपने प्रोडक्ट या डेवलपमेंट के लिए बायोएंजाइम की ज़रूरत है तो वो यहाँ से आई कैन सेंड देम। और बस, थैंक यू।
Okay, for those who have not understood Hindi, let me just add upon few things in the English. So for more than 6 years, he is doing
Sure.
batching, and he can send across the bioenzymes as a starter for those who are in need. And he has started from 2 liter batching to 2000 liter batching. So he has like experimented from small to bulk processing as well. So he has a lot of varieties of bioenzymes with him, and like if somebody is interested, we can contact him and we can get those varieties and test it for ourselves. Okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you. Yes,
the
I need.
Bioenzyme bank itself is a different and magnificent idea. Okay, so you're just not managing the bank, sir. You have built a treasure chest for all the Bioenzyme community members.
Thank
We
you.
thank you wholeheartedly from the entire community here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, now it's time to welcome another inspiring leader who is Samira ji. So she's a founder of Crockery Bank for Everyone, a sustainable alternative to single-use plastic. She is deeply involved in environmental protection